You are. So I told him, I said, now you better make sure you learn this stuff. Okay. All right, here we go. 7.2.
Wait, some of them were actually crying.
No, just kidding. They weren't happy, though. Solving simple systems by substitution. Okay, so yesterday you solved by graphing. Remember, you graphed them, and wherever they crossed, that was the answer, the ordered pair. If it was the same line, you wrote, that line. If it was parallel, well, then they never crossed, so then it was, the 0 with the line through it. Make sure, by the way, y'all turned in all your homework from yesterday. Today, we're going to solve the same type of equations, but we're doing it by substitution method. Yesterday was getting an answer by graphing. Today is by substitution. The picture I showed you all on the wall, remember on the board with my projector? Okay, that was 7.3. That was solving advanced systems. But you're still by substitution, but you're still doing the same thing. In fact, I've decided that I'm going to skip 7.3 only because you need to know by graphing, substitution, and elimination. Last year, I skipped elimination. And after talking to Dr. Gapp, we'd rather skip the advanced and do the elimination. So tomorrow we'll be doing that. All right, so by substitution, you are again, here we go, lots of words. You're looking for the point of intersection, just like we did yesterday. And that's going to be that solution. That's your answer. Of two lines. And those two lines are your equations. So we're doing, again, two equations by the substitution method. Instead of graphing. So we're looking for the point of intersection, again, just like we did yesterday, that ordered pair, where the two lines cross, but instead of graphing it, you're going to do substitution method. Now, while I'm waiting for people to finish up writing, guys, I have students that would rather graph than do all of this work that you're about to do. They're like, I'm not doing all that. When you're graphing, you just change it to y equals mx plus b. You graph it, where they cross, there's your answer. Plain and simple. However, and they try to graph this instead of doing it by way of substitution, it doesn't always work because the problems that they have in your book are meant for substitution, not for graphing. So you may get weird, like y-intercepts that are like 8/7 or 7/8 or something weird. And that's going to be virtually impossible to graph. If you do graph it, it's not going to cross at a perfect intersection. So you're going to have weird order pairs. You'll see what I'm talking about when we start doing this. Okay, so don't try to cheat and say, well, I like graphing better, so I'm going to, instead of substitution, I'm going to find the answer by graphing. It won't work. So here are your steps. Write them down so that in case you forget, you can go back to them. You're going to solve either equation for, either variable, x or y. So you're going to solve one of the two equations for either x or y, like x equals everything or y equals everything. And you get to choose. And when we start doing examples, I'll show you why I choose what I choose. You want to do the easiest one. Most students automatically just solve for y because that's what you are used to. But it's not always going to work. So choose the easiest. Well, it will work, but it's not going to be the easiest. So you want to choose the easiest variable to solve for. I'm putting a star right there. In there. Because you want to choose the easiest variable to solve for. And I'll explain when we start doing examples. Step 2, and I'll let y'all catch up. You're going to substitute the solution from step 1 into the other equation. To get the value of the other variable. Again, this sounds like blah, 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 blah until we start doing it. So step 2, you're going to take what you did in 1 and you're going to substitute it into the other equation. Whoops, that says other. Other equation. All right. Why don't y'all ever say anything when I do that? Y'all just sit there and laugh at me. That's fine. Wait, let me pause my video. That's grammar. That has nothing to do with math. Okay, here we go. So step 2 is substitute the solution from step 1 into the other equation, blah, blah. Step 3, use the value of the known variable, and I'm going to explain what that means. Basically, what you did in step 2 to solve for the other one. You're going to be substituting back and forth. And then 4, I'm putting a star by it, and I'll let y'all catch up. You're going to write the solution, which is your answer, as an ordered pair. Just like we did yesterday. X and Y format. So let y'all catch up.
How many notes do you have?
Shh, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And for today, there's not going to be any parallel lines or the same line. So that's going to be good. You don't have to worry about that. And I have 4 examples to do. That's it. But each example may take a whole side of paper, especially if you write kind of large. So be ready. Don't try to squeeze it all in. If you are messy with your work, then you will get confused. You have it, Larry? Okay. Tell me when you're done, Sophia. Where are you at? Okay, good. You're good? All right. Rest your hand for a second. Okay, open up your books to page 286. We're going to jump right into examples. That's the best way to learn. Okay, shh. Let's see. Everyone there, page 286. Okay, Morgan, read the directions for number 5.
Solve each system by substitution.
All right, so we're going to solve each system. We're going to do exactly kind of those steps by substitution. They give you 2 equations, just like yesterday. Y equals 3x, and let me make sure I'm writing this down. 4x plus y equals 49. Okay, unlike yesterday where we had to put them both into y equals mx plus b, we don't have to do that today. Now, if you remember, step 1 says solve either equation for a variable, for either x or y. Choose the easiest variable to solve for. So I ask you, look at these 2 equations. Which one would be the easiest one to either have y equals everything or x equals everything, Franz? The first one. It's already done for you. It already says y equals 3x, right? Okay, so line 1, or equation 1, is y equals 3x. And 2, there's a reason I do this, 4x plus y equals 49. Okay, so I have it written out this way. Nice and neat. Have them written out. Okay, so we have done step 1 already. One of the equations, we've chosen a letter. It can be y or x, but we have it, equal to everything else. Already done for you. So, step 2, we're going to substitute. Since y equals 3x, we're going to substitute that into this y, into the second equation. That was step 2. Step 2, substitute the solution into the other equation. So we're going to substitute 3x into that y, because it says y equals 3x, so we're going to substitute. So now we have 4x plus 3x equals 49. Does everyone see that? So if y, look at the first equation, chat, if y equals 3x, so y is 3x, we're going to substitute the 3x into the y of the second equation. So now it's 4x plus 3x equals 49. Do you see that? Because we're substituting it. We're taking the y away because y equals 3x. So we're putting this in place of the y. They're saying, like, okay, if I said y equals 4, I'm saying that y is 4. This is saying y is 3x. So I'm putting this in place of that y.
So that y is going to that y?
There's no y. This is saying y in the first equation, y equals 3x. So I'm substituting in place of this. I'm taking it away because this is now going to be y. So I substitute that, and now I solve. So now we're going to solve for x here. Solve for x here. So what's 4x plus 3x? That's right. 7x equals 49. Are y'all with me so far? All right, so now I'm still solving for x. What do I need to do here, Franz? How do I solve for x? That's right. And that cancels out, and x equals what? That's right. Okay, so guys, look at that. X now equals 7. We solve by substituting that other equation in there. We've solved for x. Remember, our answer's got to be in an ordered pair, right? We've now solved for x. So we got our first, coordinate. But now we got to find what the second one is, the y. So I'm going to take that and we put it back into this one. So watch this. I'm going to bring down that equation. I'm going to rewrite it. Y equals 3x. See what I did there? I'm just bringing it down. So now the next step is to substitute x equals 7. I'm going to substitute in that x, just like we did in step 1. So now I have y equals 3 times 7. Is it kind of making sense?
So you just substituted the right.
That's right. Substituting back and forth. So what's 3 times 7?
21.
So y equals 21. There's my second one, my second part of my coordinate. Your answer needs to be in an ordered pair. And there's my answer. That's my x. And that's my y. See why I said you got to be nice and neat? So let's take a second, look back over this. I got it up here on the wall. If you have questions before I move on to a hairier one, you need to. Hairy means scary. Okay, anyway. Before I move on to the next one that may be a little more challenging, ask questions. Nobody has questions? Does everyone have this down? Larry got it down? Keith, you good? All right, let's go. Now, notice I am changing to a new paper. Make sure you have plenty of room for every problem.
That means it's very scary.
It's very hairy. Okay. 7. We're doing the same thing, same directions. They gave us y equals 3x plus 2 and y equals 5x minus 6. Once you have this written down, let's talk about it. Okay. Step 1 says solve either equation for either variable, y or x. Both of these are already done. Both of these have y equals something. So you can just choose one or the other. You don't have to do anything to this because it's already done. Step 1's done. So I'm going to write my equations again. And we're just going to do like we did on the problem 5. And we're just going to use the first equation again. It's already done. Y equals blah, 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 blah. Y'all ready? You ready, Valeria? Y'all have your seatbelts buckled? Here we go. All right, if y equals this, we're going to take this whole section there and we're going to substitute it in this y. Just like we did the last time, but it's a little bit more, writing. So we're going to replace this y with what this one equals to. So watch what it looks like when I rewrite it. It's going to be 3x plus 2 equals 5x minus 6. Do y'all see that? So I don't want to move any further until y'all see what I did. Does that make sense? You see that? That I took what this y is equaling and I replaced that one. So now we solve for x. So Sophia, solve for x. Talk me through it. Very good. And you get 3x equals 5x what? Very good. Now what do I do? So I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides. And what do you get? Equals. Very good. Now what do I do? And what do you get? Very good. So now we know what x is. It's 4. Does everyone see that? Miranda, do you see that? All right, so now I'm going to bring down my first equation just because it's a mess up there. Y equals 3x plus 2. And I'm substituting this 4 into that x. That one right there. So now I have y equals 3 times 4, not 34. Make sure you put it in parentheses. Don't put 34. You see what I'm saying? You got to make sure you put it in parentheses. What is 3 times 4? And what's 12 plus 2?
14.
So y equals 14. There we are. Our answer, our ordered pair, is 4 and 14.
Which is
There's your x and there's your y. Make sure you write this down. And do y'all have any questions? All right, I'm going to do 2 more. Blair, you got it?
What would you use this for?
I don't know. You use it, are you, is right now real life? Are you alive?
Yes.
Are you using it? Then you're using it in real life. All right, let's move on. I don't have time to answer those questions right now. Okay. 23. Let's move down to section B. This is where it gets real hairy. All right, B, section B, 23. We're doing the same thing. You're given 3x plus 5y equals 13, and then x plus 8y equals 36. Okay, guys, this time we don't have anything that's already done for you. We don't have x equals anything or y equals anything, do we? So we've got to actually do that step 1. So I'm going to rewrite the equations just like this, separate them like we've been doing. Okay, here's where you really need to pay attention. Neither equation is set up as y equals something or x equals something. But in number 1, it says you can choose either equation and any letter. So just by looking at both of these equations and the letters, which one, Miranda, do you think would be the easiest to isolate? And what letter would you isolate? Which one would be easier to get all by itself? This would be easier to get by itself than this. Look at x. See how it's all by itself?
Oh.
It's already by itself. All we have to do is move this. So let's solve for x in equation 2. Valeria, do you see this? You're going to have to be able to do this. So look, the second equation already has x by itself. So let's go ahead and solve for x. How do we do that, Valeria? How do I isolate x? Perfect. Minus 8y on both sides. And so I get x equals negative 8y plus 36. All right. So now I have a letter equaling something. So we're going to take that, and what are we going to substitute that into, Valeria? The x or the y over here? This says, look, this is, there you go. This says x equals blah, blah, blah. So we're going to substitute it into that x. It should be making sense to y'all now. So I'm going to write 3, and it's 3 times x, right? So it's going to be 3 times negative 8y plus 36 plus 5y equals 13. Look at what I did. Y'all see that? I took this whole equation and I stuck this whole thing in for x. And this is what it looks like. Do y'all see that? Now we're going to, this time we're solving for y. So chat, what is, we're going to be doing distributive property. So what is 3 times negative 8y? Okay, and 3 times 36? Plus 5y equals 13. So what do I combine, chat?
The negative 24y and the 5.
And what do I get?
Negative 19y plus 8.
Now what do I do, chat?
You on y, so you subtract 108 from both sides.
And what do you get? Negative 19y equals negative 95. Now we divide both sides by negative 19. Chat, do you know what that is?
Probably. No. Oh, wait. 5.
Yes. Okay, so we have our 5. Now what do I do with this 5, Valeria?
Plug it in.
To which equation? You can plug it into this one if you want. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite. See this one has number 2? So I'm going to write that down here. So I'm bringing this whole thing over there. And it is x plus 8y equals 36. Now, Valeria said we're going to plug that 5 into this y. So we're going to substitute it. So I get x plus 8 times 5 equals 36. What? Where?
Can you go up?
So we had this set to x. We substitute it in there. Solve for y.
And you put
So now we're going to put y into this.
Oh, so you don't put y in the solved one, you put it in
The original.
oh.
So 8 times 5 is 40. We solve for x. I'll let y'all catch up. And you get x equals -4. So then your answer is, whoops, -4 and 5. Yes, ma'am. Good. Okay, so Sophia substituted this y in the other equation and got the same answer, right? This right here? Okay, so did you hear that? Sophia put it in this one right here, chat, and got the same answer. So it would work either way. Exactly, it's the same problem. Does that make sense? Do we have a good understanding how to do this? Y'all ready to be set free?
Yeah, I think we have one more.
I think y'all got this. Okay. Well, you did 3. You have 3 full problems written there. So let's do page 286. Let's see. Six through 20 even. And honors 10 through 24 even. I think that's like 8 problems. Yeah, 8 problems. This is due Thursday. And let's see, you have a quiz Monday, test Wednesday, and I've assigned IXL. It's due Wednesday, I believe. So you have a week.